called Horrors on the Hub. So I don't know. It sounds scary. I ain't gonna lie. So we gotta turn the lights off for this one. What the fuck so scary gonna happen on the hub? I don't like the dark ominous music.
In this clip, a man steps out of the shower, singing a cheerful little song to himself. At first glance, nothing unusual. I'd bet plenty of us do the exact same thing. But just a couple of hours before this, that same man had recorded what might be the most disturbing and revolting video posted anywhere online in the last decade. More on that in a moment. His name is Yostin Mosquera. He was born into a poor family in Colombia. Yostin made his living in a pretty unusual way. He filmed private adult content and posted it across different platforms, including the...
Oh, no. Don't tell me he was doing what I think he was doing, bro.
well-known black and orange site. Back in 2012, he met a 62-year-old Londoner named Albert Alfonso, a former manager at an upscale apartment complex. Alfonso started paying Yostin for his videos, and over
Oh, hell no, bro.
those videos grew more and more extreme. Thanks to this new client, Yostin was finally planning to pull his family out of poverty. His wife, his 2 kids, and his 5 brothers were all living in the poorest part of Medellin, Colombia. Yostin's client lived with his 71-year-old ex-partner. Neighbors described them as 2 quiet, kind men. In 2023, Yostin flew to London for the first time on Alfonso's dime. It seemed their connection had outgrown any business arrangement and turned into a real friendship. The 3 of them spent their days happily wandering around London. Oddly, after moving there, Yostin kept obsessing over buying one particular item. Over and over, he searched the internet for a freezer. Around the same time, his client Alfonso stopped showing up to work, completely out of character for a man known for being punctual. When his co-workers started messaging to ask what was going on, all they got back was a short reply: something came up, back soon. They pressed him on where he'd gone and why, but his messages started to look off, as if they'd been run through a translator from another language. That unsettled his co-workers even more, so they tried calling. Several of their calls went unanswered. Then, on July 10th, police got a chilling phone call.
Says there's car parts and the case broken. It's really heavy and there's blood out of it. It looks like there's blood coming out of the case.
Damn.
And here's where we have to circle back to the beginning. As you've probably
This nigga coming out the shower
already guessed, that clip from the first seconds of this video wasn't quite normal either. If I'd shown you the whole thing, you'd have seen that while Yostin stepped out of the shower singing his cheerful little song, the bodies of 2 men lay on the floor of the room behind him. He had hidden their heads inside the very freezer he'd been so intent on buying. In this video, he's just washed the evidence of what he'd done off his body. The victims were Albert Alfonso and his ex-partner. Yostin filmed the killings too. The whole thing was captured on 4 cameras from different angles.
I don't even get that. Why would he kill them though? That's just gonna stop his fucking motion. It's for bro. Yes, I'm bored, bruh. I just got off work. I'm bored as fuck. Hold up. Wait, I need to change the brightness of my background. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I got off at 3 a.m. That sounds crazy to say out loud now I think about it. Yeah, don't get no overnight job, bro. That shit fucking sucks.
Right in the middle of recording one of their usual videos together, he pulled out a knife. On the recording, you can hear him say, "You like it? You like this?" The same words often heard in his videos with Alfonso. Please do not try to find this recording online. It exists, and it is vile. Honestly, I don't even want to think about how Alfonso felt in that moment.
hope
Imagine
you
your
wanna
best
look it up
friend,
right
and
now,
at the
bro.
same time, the romantic partner you were financially supporting suddenly deciding to kill you. Then Joosten loaded part of the remains into 2 suitcases, rented a van, and drove to the famous Clifton Suspension Bridge. The rest he left in the freezer for now,
Damn,
planning to come back for it
he had
later.
people
But
help
one of
him?
his suitcases was leaking something, and it caught the attention of people nearby. When bridge staff came over to check, he lied and said he was carrying car parts and that the liquid was oil. They didn't buy it, and he bolted. 3 days
This disgusting. This real footage
later,
of
he was
him,
caught at a
bro.
train station trying to leave the country.
Bro. I'm not gonna lie, you missing a lot of context, bro. Just. Oh, you can't really see the title of the video. Hold on. Hold up. I don't even know if I can show that title. Oh, it's not even letting me show the fucking title. Like, look at the title, bro. Nah, this is crazy though.
In 2025, the judge laid out his motive. Even before any of this, Joosten had started looking into the value
Cause we had access to everything, says how it probably work. Damn.
of Alfonso's London apartment. He naively believed he could sell it once both men were gone. His browser history showed that long before the London trip,
nigga's
he'd searched how to
retarded,
kill
bro.
someone and looked up arsenic.
This
And
nigga-
immediately after killing Alfonso, the very first thing he did was try to move £4,000 to his Colombian account. The court handed him a life sentence with a minimum of 42 years before parole. The judge noted he could have imposed a whole life
Why would you even want to meet your favorite porn star in the first place,
term
bro?
with no possibility of release, but stopped short, partly because of the lack of prior convictions, partly because of
Wait, these niggas low-key, I can't even blame them though. Like, they was rich and they just wanted to meet one of their favorite porn stars and they did. Like, I mean, I don't blame them, bro.
Joosten's brutal
They
childhood
were
in
just trying to
Colombia.
get freaky fun.
And this is just one story, one of hundreds, and what ties them all together is the exact same platform. For most of us, the famous Black and Orange site is about as ordinary as it gets.
the Black and
I'm sure a
Orange
good chunk
site,
of the people
yeah.
watching this visit the site at least once a month. But when I started digging into the dark side of this platform, I was horrified. The stories that follow will most likely give you chills. Before the most disturbing parts, I'll warn you, so you can skip ahead and spare yourself the worst of it.
Oh, I can't do this dark, ominous fucking music, bro.
Here's a photo of a young Italian woman and her boyfriend, a happy couple, a beautiful girl from the suburbs of Naples, and the man she loved. But this woman has no idea that very soon she'll become the darkest, most notorious meme in Italian history. Her name was Tiziana Cantone. She grew up without a father, and that in her mother's
Like, what does that even have to do with the story?
words made her, quote, beautiful, but very vulnerable. From the outside, the couple looked
What?
perfect. Her boyfriend was a successful entrepreneur, and she was an attractive young woman with a shared circle of friends and a lively social life. But in reality, all of it was just a front, and behind it a real nightmare was playing out.
Let me guess, he was beating on her.
Her boyfriend, a man named DiPaolo, manipulated
This nigga name was Apollo.
Tiziana and pushed her into intimate encounters with other men on camera. He kept those recordings
This nigga's a cuck.
in a private collection. Under pressure, she went along with it, but over time, she started to realize she was simply being used, and she decided to end the relationship. The breakup with DiPaolo
that's
was hard on
weird as
her,
fuck,
but
I
it
ain't gonna
didn't
lie.
break her. Fairly quickly, a new man came into her life, and
Okay,
driven
who?
by hurt and the urge to prove to her ex she was better off without him, Tiziana made a decision that would forever change not only her own life, but the laws of an entire country. Tiziana filmed a few private videos with her new
She did what?
she was better off without him, Tiziana made a decision that would forever change not only her own life, but the laws of an entire country. Tiziana filmed a few private videos with her new partner and sent them through a messaging app to several friends, including her ex.
What? Why would you want to do that? This bitch.
Boyfriend. The goal was simple, to make him jealous. But what happened next was something she could never have seen.
I already know how this gonna end, but like, that shit probably got reshared.
The friends she'd sent the videos to were the same people she'd shared her deepest secrets with. She trusted them completely. And yet, by the very next day, Tiziana found the footage of herself on adult sites and social media. And here's the thing. The man's face was carefully blurred out, while hers was left fully exposed. One of these videos went viral instantly. In it, Tiziana says a line in Italian. Stai facendo un video? Bravo, which translates to, "You're filming? Good for you." That phrase became a meme all over Italy overnight. It got printed on t-shirts, on mugs, on phone cases, and all of it was actually flying off the shelves. Italian companies, and even some celebrities, used the phrase in their advertising, and screenshots showing Tiziana's full name flooded social media. The video was watched nearly 1 million times, but the views weren't even the worst part. Tiziana could no longer just run to the store. Strangers on the street kept recognizing her and repeating that phrase to her face. She lost her job. She fled her hometown for another part of the country. She legally changed her last name just to stop being that Tiziana. One friend recalled, at some point she realized this situation would never resolve itself, that her future...
Oh, I already know how this is about to end. Oh my gosh. I'm guessing she's finna... Oh my gosh. More of the story, never send no news or nothing to nobody, bro. What the fuck? I don't even know why she thought that was right, bro. And then sending it to a group chat, bro, like...
Husband, her future children, would be able to find these videos, that they would never go away. Tiziana decided to fight. She filed a sweeping civil suit, demanding that all the footage be removed immediately. The court granted her request only in part. The biggest platforms were ordered to take down the posts. You'd think that would be a win, but then the court denied part of her claims and ordered Tiziana to pay around 20,000 euros. Not the people who leaked the videos, not the sites that made money off them. Her, the victim. When I first read this, I assumed it was a typo, but sadly, no. The court really did demand 20,000 euros from the person who'd been harmed. By the strict letter of the law, there was a specific reason for it. Under European law, if...
Five winning companies?
If you sue a company and lose even part of your claim, you're required to cover that company's legal fees. Tiziana lost on part of her suit and got the bill. The victim was made to pay for trying to protect herself. Her mother would later say she felt that justice had not been done. What followed was a deep depression and harassment she couldn't escape. Her ex-boyfriend stayed close through all of it, seeming to support her, though her mother was convinced his motives were anything.
The ex-boyfriend? Nigga, he one of the people that sent the video out.
But sincere. On September 13th, 2016, Tiziana's mother left for work. Her daughter stayed home. A few hours later, a call came in at the mother's job.
I know what happened.
She called.
I don't even want to hear it, bruh. Fuck. I already know what she's gonna say.
And calmly told me to come home. When I got there, the police and paramedics were already outside, and I knew. They wouldn't even let me look at her one last time.
Tiziana couldn't bear the harassment. She was only 33. A local paper wrote, "In the Wild West of the internet, a judge's orders have the same effect as firing blanks." And that turned out to be true. In 2022, during questioning of her ex-boyfriend, the video resurfaced online, slipping past every filter the court's ruling had imposed. no one was punished for Tiziana's death. The 5 friends she'd sent the recordings to were acquitted. Investigators could never prove which of them uploaded the files. Her ex-boyfriend, the man who turned her life into a living hell, was fully acquitted in 2022. The only person the law actually punished in this whole story was Tiziana herself, hit with a €20,000 fine for trying to defend her own name. Her case changed European law.
I am thinking about that because back in the day, how could you even prove who sent the video out? That's why you don't send nothing out, man. You really don't know who could have. I don't know. Damn. Yeah, I don't know. That's hard.
Sharing, forwarding, or publishing intimate photos and videos without a person's clear consent is a criminal offense. But for her, justice never came. It's easy to look at Tiziana's story and think, I'd never end up in her shoes. And you're probably right. But when it comes to the person in our next story, that could be any one of us. Which is exactly why I have to warn the more sensitive viewers here. Feel free to skip this chapter by jumping to the timestamp on your screen. I think we've all felt a pull towards someone through a screen at some point. Maybe an actress, an influencer, even a news anchor. That's completely normal. Usually the crush faded with time, and each of us understood it was all just a fantasy, nothing more. For me, it was Megan Fox. After watching Transformers, I basically fell for her on
Who is this guy? I like this guy.
screen. Feel free to drop your own on-screen crushes in the comments.
Who the fuck is
I'd love to
Rachel
read them.
Taylor? Hold on, let me look. I don't like this guy's voice at all. Why is he whispering to me about this? Who is Rachel Taylor? What? Who the fuck is this? What movie she been in? Oh, Jessica Jones. Oh, Transformers. She low-key got some bangers. I am so sorry, ma'am. Why did I ever disrespect you? I'm looking at your resume. You got some bangers in here. Grey's Anatomy, Transformers, Jessica Jones. Holy shit, I apologize for acting like I didn't know who you were. Holy shit. Bruh, Man Thing is crazy. Yo.
Just don't write Megan Fox. Well, it turns out this kind of one-sided attachment can lead to truly horrifying consequences and destroy the lives of far more people than just the one who fell in love. In January of 2019, a woman in Florida called the police. Her boyfriend had gone to see his parents one evening and never came back. He wasn't answering his phone. He didn't show up to work. Her boyfriend's younger brother was 29-year-old Grant Amato, the youngest of 3 sons. He worked as a nurse, but got caught stealing controlled substances and was fired for it. He sank into a deep depression. At first, he fought it with video games and streaming platforms. None of it really helped him. But one day, he found something that, at least the way he saw it, would pull him out of that depression for good. Scrolling through the site, he came across a video of a performer he almost instantly fell for. Her name was Sylvia Vencislavova, and she lived 5,500 miles away in Bulgaria. But for Grant, that wasn't a problem. Lucky for him, the performer had a profile on another well-known platform where any fan could chat with her privately for a set fee. In just his first 3 days of talking to her, Grant sent her more than $10,000. A minute of chatting with the model cost $10. He stopped talking to anyone but Sylvia. Wanting to impress her, he told her he was a wealthy professional gamer. And that back and forth really did help him cope with his depression. Grant was absolutely convinced Sylvia sincerely loved him back. He'd lost all touch with reality and believed they had a genuine, committed long-distance relationship. He told his older brother that Sylvia singled him out from thousands of other users. He claimed she messaged him privately off the site, remembered details of his life, and called him the love of...
This why these models and stuff need to be careful, bruh. Y'all need to understand, they be having whole fucking teams, just straight dudes texting y'all. It's dudes sitting in the office texting
her life.
Bruh.
His older brother suspected something was wrong, but he had no idea how far Grant had gone. Grant was literally bragging to the family about his new girlfriend and calling her his fiancée. After yet another payment to the model, his family started to wonder where their unemployed, depressed son was getting thousands of dollars to talk to a girl on the internet he'd never once met in person. As it turned out, in under 6 months, Grant had secretly drained his parents' and his older brother's accounts completely, cashed out
Stealing money from the whole family for a girl you never met is crazy.
his father's retirement savings, sold his brother's personal firearm, and even quietly took out a $65,000 loan against the family home.
How do you quietly do that? What? 60K?
In the end, in just 6 months, he siphoned $200,000 out of the family and sent every last cent to Sylvia. The family only found out when the sky-high credit card statements arrived. But even then, they didn't disown their son. They tried to help him. His father gave him an ultimatum. Either Grant cuts off contact with Sylvia, checks into a clinic, and completes a full 15-month depression treatment program, or he leaves home for good. Grant checked into the clinic. It looked like a turning point.
Okay.
But 2 weeks later, he walked out of the rehab center and immediately re-established contact with Sylvia. On the evening of January 24th, his father found out. A furious blow-up erupted between father and son, and Grant was ordered to get out of the house immediately.
Right.
That was the point of no return. In Grant's mind, his family had become the one obstacle standing between him and his happy life with Sylvia. On January 25th, the older brother's girlfriend called the police, and so did his co-workers, since he'd missed work without a word of explanation.
Yeah.
When officers arrived at the house and knocked on the doors and windows, no one answered, but through the glass panels, they could make out the father lying motionless on the floor.
No fucking way, bro.
The police broke down the
This
door
nigga's
and
a
found
fucking
inside the
pussy,
lifeless
bro.
bodies of the mother and the older brother, the brother holding a handgun. At first, the scene told a clear story. It all looked as though the older brother had simply cracked under the enormous stress of the massive financial loss and the turmoil at home, lost control, coldly killed his own parents, and turned the gun on himself. Every piece of evidence in the room practically screamed that the killer had been found and that he was already dead. But the moment officers stepped closer to the older brother's body, that clear story fell apart. There was no telltale gunpowder residue on the supposed killer's skin, the kind always left by a shot fired point blank. Forensics showed the shot to the older brother had been fired from a distance greater than the length of his own arm. What's more, the casings collected at the scene didn't match the weapon used to kill the victims. By all appearances, Grant had gone outside, fired a different gun into the air, gathered the casings, and planted them in the house to throw investigators off. And right after the killings, another $600 vanished from his brother.
You sick little bitch. How does he have access to all the accounts though, bruh?
Brother's account. Police instantly traced it. The money had gone to Sylvia again. Police put out a warrant for Grant as an armed and extremely dangerous fugitive. A day after the bodies were found, a SWAT team and sheriff's deputies located his car in a hotel parking lot, stormed the room, and took Grant Amato into custody without a single shot fired. During questioning, he never once asked what had happened to his family. When investigators showed him photos from the scene, he answered, "My mom and dad kept saying I ruined their lives. Well, I fixed that." Grant was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. His 2020 appeal was, thankfully, denied. What personally unsettles me is that Grant Amato still insists his relationship with Sylvia was real, and that money played no part in it. As for Sylvia herself, she never made a single public comment about the tragedy. She also permanently blocked Grant's accounts on every social media platform. It remains unclear whether she was aware her fan was stealing money from his family or truly believed he was a famous pro gamer. After stories this dark, we could all use a little breather. While I was hunting down material for this video, I got curious. How did that famous black and orange site even come to be? The site where the lives of the people in our earlier stories fell apart. And I'll admit, I was floored by how the idea of 3 ordinary Canadian students turned into a corporation that in traffic outpaced Netflix and Amazon combined. In 2007, these guys figured out something simple. Why pay studios for content when you can let users upload everything themselves for free? It was YouTube for adults. And the model worked instantly. 7 months in, the site was pulling 1 million users a day, with nearly all the content being flat-out piracy. Soon, the platform was bought by German programmer Fabian Tillman, who built a real monopoly on top of it. Picture Netflix simultaneously owning every film studio on Earth, every camera, every theater, and every casting agency. That's what the holding company behind this site became. But what's truly staggering is the hypocrisy this empire ran on. To buy up his competitors, Tillman needed enormous amounts of money. And who do you think was funding the planet's leading adult platform? JP Morgan Chase, the investment fund Fortress, and you won't believe it, Cornell University, one of the most prestigious schools in the US. When it came out, the university's reps just shrugged and claimed they didn't know exactly what the company did, assuming it was simply an online media distributor. Quite the oversight when there's this much money on the line. And the money was astronomical. The scale is the best way to grasp it. Back in 2019, the site was getting around 100 million visits a day, but in the single year of the pandemic, when the whole world was stuck at home, that number shot up to 170 million visits a day. That's 62 billion visits in a year, as if every single person on Earth logged on 8 times. That's how the Black and Orange giant became the 5th most visited site in the world, passing Amazon, Reddit, and Netflix. But as you already know, this platform has not just an orange side, but a dark one. With no basic vetting of who was uploading, terabytes of outright filthy content flooded the site. And in December of 2020, the New York Times published a scathing article, and the very next day, Visa and MasterCard blocked all transactions on the site. Facing collapse, the platform carried out a ruthless purge. Overnight, it deleted every video from unverified users, and its library shrank from 13 million videos to 4 million. Let that sink in. 69% of all the content evaporated overnight. It's as if tomorrow you opened YouTube and of your 10 favorite channels, only 3 were left. Since then, Tillman has been arrested over taxes, and the parent company has renamed itself 4 times, hoping to scrub off its dirty past. The classic corporate playbook: when the scandal gets too loud, you just swap the sign, repaint the storefront, and keep making millions. But for the average person, all these numbers, lawsuits, and rebrands are just distant corporate squabbles. It's easy to watch them from the sidelines. It's far harder when one day you open this site and see the face of someone close to you. In 2011, another video was uploaded to the platform under the hidden camera and voyeur categories. Back then, hundreds of videos like it were uploaded to the site every day, and those categories were pretty popular with users. This one was uploaded through a verified, trusted channel in a special partner program, and it cleared moderation without any trouble. The video racked up tens of thousands of views and drew no particular attention. But 8 years later, in 2019, one man finally stumbled onto it and was horrified by what he saw. At first, the image just
I don't know if I want to see this shit no more, bruh. I don't know if I want to finish this shit, bruh.
Looked vaguely familiar to him. He studied the background, the gym lockers, the emblem on the wall, the colors of the uniforms. His heart started pounding when he recognized the locker room of his own college in South Carolina. But the worst was still to come. When the camera focused on the faces, in that video, he saw his own grown daughter. The man refused to believe what he was seeing until the very last second. He couldn't wrap his head around how his adult, accomplished daughter, who studied at university and was building an athletic career, could have ended up on this site. He looked the video over carefully, hoping he'd just imagined it. But the video showed exactly the opposite. The image was too sharp, and the young woman's face too recognizable. The first thing that comes to any parent's mind in a situation like this is that their daughter ended up there by choice. But once the initial shock settled a little, the man forced himself to look closely at the details of what was on screen. And that's when he realized something that turned the meaning of the whole video on its head. The father suddenly remembered events from 8 years earlier. In 2011, his adult daughter was hard at work, building an athletic career and playing for her university team. Right around the time this video went up, their women's basketball team had traveled to South Carolina for an away game. After the game, the players went into the local campus locker room to change before the drive home. An ordinary road trip that his daughter barely even mentioned once she got back. But now,
Right.
staring at the screen, the man was horrified to realize the setting in the video was that very locker room at the college in South Carolina. The camera angle looked unnatural. The lens was fixed, tucked into the darkest corner of the room. The young women seemed completely at ease, laughing, talking about the game, with no idea a hidden camera was watching them. As it later came out, the college's director of internal programs, a man named Collins Murphy, had installed the hidden camera and secretly recorded the students without their knowledge or consent.
Yeah, this nigga.
The video
weirdo.
sat on the site for 8 years, and it wasn't the platform's moderation that found it. A concerned parent found it and reported it to the university. The footage was only taken down after law enforcement stepped in. 9 of the students filed suit against the platform, but in September of 2025, the court dismissed it. A special legal provision was
What?
applied, Section 230, which shields internet platforms from liability for content uploaded by their users. The court's reasoning, almost word for word, went like this. Tags like voyeur and hidden camera don't in themselves prove the platform encouraged this kind of filming, and no direct legal link between Murphy and the company was established. The ruling set off a storm of outrage. On social media, the viral hashtag
Can't they like at least sue the university?
Fix Section 230 surged back into popularity, and advocates called the verdict a triumph of corporate irresponsibility. Activists pointed out the absurdity. The site had monetized footage without the victim's consent for 8 years, but walked away clean thanks to a 30-year-old law. Collins Murphy, the man who installed the hidden camera, avoided punishment entirely, saved by an expired statute of limitations. But if Murphy acted alone and in secret, the company in the next story openly exploited the debts and hardships of struggling students to make millions of dollars off them.
Oh.
In the mid-2010s,
I
a young
heard
woman,
about
let's
something
call
like
her Mary,
this.
was 21. She was in college, working a service job on the side, and dreaming of becoming a fashion model. Like most students, she had serious money troubles. She couldn't cover her rent or her tuition. Looking for extra work,
Okay.
she came across a listing for a modeling job with an athletic wear brand. The pay, $2,000 for a day of shooting. For a working
Oh.
student barely scraping by, this was the lucky break she needed, a way to solve all of her mounting problems at once and turn her
Sounds
dream of a
good
modeling
at
career
first.
into reality. She sent in her resume, and she got a call back. The employer paid for her flight to San Diego. When she landed, a private driver met her in a white Mercedes. Then he took her to a luxury 5-star hotel and covered her stay. The fancy car, the expensive hotel, it all looked like her dream of a modeling career was
He asks, is this true crime? I mean, look at this title, bruh. I mean, like, I mean, if you want to consider it that, I mean, it's about crime, but I mean, like, I guess it is. I mean, it is, but like, it's like Pornhub crime right now. Yeah, it is. It is like true crime.
finally coming true. But the second Mary walked into that hotel room, things started to feel off. First, she was asked not to leave the room, and they took her keys.
Yeah, bruh. I ain't even. Bruh. I'm over here for.
Then they offered her alcohol and illicit substances. As the shoot was being discussed, she realized she was being offered a role in producing adult material, and when she tried to refuse, the mood instantly turned aggressive. They started threatening her with massive lawsuits for breaching the contract, claiming she'd end up owing tens of thousands of dollars and would ruin her own life. They shoved a multi-page contract at her, written in fine print. Worn down by hours of pressure, in a panic, she gave in, just to get out of that room. She was told the footage would go exclusively onto physical discs for sale overseas, Australia, New Zealand, private collections in Europe. The men assured her no one in the US would ever see it. For a broke student terrified of the shame, that was the deciding factor. Mary had no idea how disastrously all of this would end for her, and that she had just become part of the biggest, most high-profile scandal in the history of the famous adult site. Here's an FBI wanted poster, the Bureau's 10 most wanted fugitives list from the mid-2010s. The man in the photo is Michael
Okay.
Pratt, and he landed on that list thanks to the 680 million views his
This
Adult
nigga
Material
nasty.
Studios videos racked up. The scheme worked like this. The studio Girls Do Corn, I changed the
Okay.
name on purpose, mass-posted listings on Craigslist, promising legitimate modeling work. Women hired
Craigslist even
specifically for this
exist
would call the
anymore?
targets and tell them they'd personally had a great experience working with this company. And from there, every time, events followed the same script they'd used on Mary. And of course, the footage wasn't being shot for private collections, but for wide distribution. The scale was staggering, more than 250 victims. $17 million in revenue.
What?
The studio's channel was among the
What?
top 20 most viewed on the entire site, and the second most popular video on the whole platform in 2014 belonged to this exact studio. On top of that, according to the FBI, Michael Pratt ran a separate site where he exposed the identities of his own models who backed out of shoots to sic the public on them. The platform only removed this studio's channel after its owners were arrested in the fall of 2019. But even after removal, the footage could still be found on the site unofficially. A second sister brand from the same studio wasn't taken down until
This shit
December
is
of 2020,
crazy as
more than a
fuck.
year after the arrest. In December of 2023, the adult site's parent company reached a deal with federal prosecutors, and it admitted the facts.
Bro,
It had received money
I fucking hate these accounts, bro. Cause like these YouTubers be putting this spooky ass music that make it even worse.
from the scheme's operators and had ignored pleas from victims going all the way back to 2016. The fine,
Damn,
$1.8 million. An FBI special agent put it this way: driven by profit, the company knowingly enriched itself while turning a blind eye to victims' pleas. Pratt himself was caught in Spain in December of 2022. The sentence,
Good.
27 years with no possibility of parole. The
Good.
compensation owed to victims, more than $75 million.
Good.
Now let's come back to Mary.
Punish
After
that
working
boy.
with this studio, she developed severe post-traumatic stress. The paranoia got so bad that for years she couldn't walk down the street normally. She felt like any passerby with a phone was watching footage of her right that second. Even 10 years after the shoot, these videos kept resurfacing on pirate sites. She admitted that, to this day, she searches her own name online once a month, bracing herself every time. Many of the victims were studying in prestigious fields. One of the women, for example, was training to be a violinist, and when the footage spread across the internet, she was expelled. Conservative families disowned their daughters,
Damn.
deciding they'd gone into that world by choice. Several victims were forced to legally change their names, wipe their social media entirely,
Damn.
dye their hair, and move to other states to start life with a clean slate. The next story, unlike the previous ones, happened very recently, literally 3 weeks ago. It's about dangerous online cults and blind, aggressive hatred of other people. If this is too heavy a topic for you, feel free to skip the next few minutes. I won't take it personally. The morning of
they
June
got, bruh, these deep ass voices and shit, bruh. Like, I can't do too much of this, bro.
22nd, 2026, Montreal. It was an ordinary Monday in a calm, modern residential neighborhood that locals called a little family haven. Hundreds of people were out walking the streets when suddenly one of them noticed a man with a weapon in the window of a nearby hotel. He assumed it was some kind of police drill and didn't think much of it. But things escalated fast. The gunman opened fire toward the 6th floor of the building across the street. The first to arrive were 2 police officers. One of them was fatally wounded right away.
Damn.
A passerby tried to help and approach the wounded officer, but he too was shot and killed. Another officer was seriously wounded. Then the gunman came down to the street and a shootout began. Police killed the attacker just as he was reloading. The shooter turned out to be 25-year-old Seth Hatfield, a philosophy student at a local university. In the winter of 2026, he'd even made the honor roll. Old friends described him as a well-read
Damn,
guy,
bro.
fascinated by military.
This dude really, he sounded like he had a bright future, bro. That's crazy. I really wish, like, there's a way to understand, like, how people's brains function and why they do certain things like this, bro.
history. Neighbors saw him as withdrawn, antisocial, not especially friendly, someone who preferred to keep his distance. His social media profiles cleared a lot up. On old accounts, investigators found playlists of conspiracy theorist videos, military marches, and material glorifying far-right radical ideology. For his
Okay.
profile pictures, he used a photo of Jack Torrance, the infamous madman from the horror classic The Shining. But how did a withdrawn honor student end up this radicalized? By all appearances, for years, he'd been sinking into the online world of the so-called incels, communities built around an ideology of involuntary celibacy that scapegoats women for its members every.
Yeah. It's making more sense. I'm seeing more of the videos and stuff. I see why he like this now. Yeah. He probably was grooming himself into this mindset, bro. This dude was young though. This, oh my gosh.
Grievance. Steeped in it, he came to see the adult platform not as entertainment, but as an enemy, a symbol of
What?
a system he blamed for enslaving men to their urges. And the building he opened fire on was an important target for him because it was the office of the very site we've been talking about throughout this entire video. In his hotel room, investigators found his 104-page manifesto, the same woman-blaming worldview set down at length. That manifesto also contained a full list of targets, the headquarters of international adult industry companies, well-known actors and actresses from that industry, along with politicians, powerful companies, well-known actors
I reckon that.
and actresses from that industry, along with politicians, powerful figures, and crypto leaders. The officer who was killed became the first officer killed in the line of duty in Montreal in the past 24 years.
R.I.P.
The passerby who tried to help him had lived in the city for more than 30 years. Not one of the victims had any connection to the adult industry. As the investigation continued,
Like, this makes no sense, bro. Like, you literally didn't even attempt to do what you said you were gonna do. This has nothing to, bro.
news.
That's why I don't get people like
The
this.
sister of the fallen officer has publicly asked people to stop sharing the recordings of her brother's death so that his children wouldn't stumble onto them when they grow up.
Damn.
The famous Black and Orange site is far from the only, and far from the main, party to blame for everything you've heard today. It's a mirror of our society, a mirror of a demand shared by billions of people. I'm genuinely curious. After everything you've just heard, has your view of this platform changed at all? Let me know in the comments.
I don't even know why I put a thumbs up on this video. I mean, like, it was a well-made video, but fuck, dude. That's some hard shit to think about.